Welcome. I'm here at the Crossways studio with lead pastor Timothy Steele, and we're talking about building ministries. So you're always stressing that Crosswaves supports the host's ministry, not the other way around.
That is correct, Carrie. Absolutely. When I read the New Testament, I see that the leaders of the New Testament, where their goal was to help other people build their ministry by mentoring other versus them building theirs. Paul was always moving around to get other people to mentor and to help other people. And so it was one person helping 1, 2, 3, 4 small, in his house, and versus them trying to build Paul some big, great, large church.
That's a big paradigm shift, isn't it?
It's huge. It's huge. One of the things that we've tried to work on is that when you go to a traditional church, and the majority of my life has been spent in pastoring in the ministry of a traditional brick and mortar church. What we know from surveys and statistics is that when people visit a church, 80% of why they will come back is they connected with the pastor during his sermon or shaking hands with him in the vestibule. They go, I like him. They might not like the music, they might not like different things, but if they like the pastor, 80% of why they will come back is because of him. Now, that what we call the celebrity pastor syndrome. That makes the pastor become really the face of the church. And what we wanted to do is say, all right, how can we flip that? And what we have found through the Crosswave system is that 80% of why somebody will come back to your home Bible study is because they enjoyed sitting around and just fellowshipping over the meal, and they said, I like these people, they're nice people. And then the discussion time that we have at the end of all of our messages where there's questions, that discussion time, they said, man, I enjoyed, who would have thought that I would have sat here and talked about the Bible with other people in a safe environment like this? I just don't get to do this. I enjoyed that, and they want to come back. What we do at Crosswaves in our weekly message is we set the table, just what the topic is of the week, but we are not as important, our teaching team, as we are if we were in a traditional brick and mortar church.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So what's the biggest mistakes that Crossways hosts make?
Whenever you use the term mentoring, you get this idea that my job is to not only help somebody, which is what we're trying to do, but I'm fixing them. I need to fix. And you're going to have people that don't know God. Right now, we're having like 70% of the people that come to a Crosswaves Bible study wasn't attending church anywhere. We expect pagans to act like pagans. And so when these people come, many of them have made some really bad mistakes in their life. They've done some things. They're going through some bad times, and they end up at our Bible studies. And so what happens is a mentor says, wow, I see problems like crazy. I can fix you. That's the worst thing you can ever think about, is fixing somebody. Our goal is to love on people and allow God to fix them.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, remember, as I just said, it's God that fixes us and changes us, not us. Let me give you a couple verses. In 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 24 through 26, we call this our outline as a mentor. This is the philosophy of ministry that every one of our hosts should have. It says this: a servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but must be kind to everyone, be able to teach, and this is the important part, be patient with difficult people. You have people that will come to your home group that don't think like you because they weren't raised in church, they don't have a Bible background. We had a person come to our group that actually turned into one of our favorite people, but when she came, she talked about fortune tellers and how she would go and get advice from them, and she believed in them. She had some views that just weren't biblical, and yet we loved on her, and we were patient with her, and she would say things, and you'd go, "That's not biblical," and we would we would just be nice and say, "Well, all right, that's one way of looking at it. Here's what the Bible says," and we just loved on her. We never got mad at her. We never got angry with her. We never was mean to her. We just loved on her. We were patient. And then we continue on in that passage in verse 25 of 2 Timothy chapter 2. It says, "Gently instruct those who oppose the truth." The key phrase there is gently. We're not browbeating anybody. We're not beating anybody up. And then it says, "Perhaps God," that's a key, "God will change those people's hearts and they will learn the truth." Our goal is to get them the truth. Again, God will fix them, not us. Because, the thing we got to always remember is all of us need fixing. We all need to be made better. And then verse 26 says, "Then they will come to their senses and escape from the devil's trap, for they have been held captive by him to do whatever he wants." And so our whole goal as a host is to realize that God changes hearts. So when we are a host of a Bible study, we are setting up an environment where it's safe, where people can discuss, where people can disagree, and yet still love each other. Our goal as a host is to reflect God's love that he gives to us, off of us, onto somebody else.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Look for us at future videos at Crossways Church.